Michigan State, another road win. They're second in the conference this season. Malik Hall, 29 points, 10 rebounds. Is it enough to finally silence the haters? Hey, we're going to talk about it with Connor Muldowney. Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers join today, and you will get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners. It's not just going to be me blabbing just solo during this whole show. No. We got Connor Muldowney of Spartan Shadows of Spartans Illustrated, and Connor, I gotta say, before we started recording, and right now, the first few moments of the show, I did know something unique or just outright odd about just you so far, and I think I've put my finger on it. We're smiling, Connor.
I think
we're smiling.
Yeah,
we're smiling on this show because, dang it, after how many times you've joined this show to recap a loss, oh my God, we both get to smile. Genuinely, not even to hide our tears. This is nuts, man. How you doing over there, Connor? Look at us, man.
On top of the world right now. After Penn State roadway, I love it.
This is so weird because usually we're designed here together, just railing on this team, whether it be basketball or football, and just holding ourselves from crying about whatever we just saw. But Connor, dang it, the boys did it, 80-72. And this is where we're going to start the show. Yeah, we're going to talk about, the whole team. Jaden Akins, he did fine. Carson Cooper, his best game so far this season. Should we be concerned about Tyson Walker? Do we feel good about the rest of the season? But we're going to start with the man of the hour, Malik Hall. Connor, it wasn't even just this game. 29 points, 10 rebounds, by the way. If you actually go back to the Illinois game, specifically the last 3 minutes of that game when it was closing time against a top 10 team, Malik Hall has 36 points since the 3-minute mark of that Illinois game. In the last 4 games, 19 points per game, 6.5 rebounds per game, just 3 total turnovers, Connor. So look, I know there's no shortage of polarizing players on this team. People are very up and down about AJ Hogarth. People are very up and down about the center position. But man, Malik Hall is a guy that gets a lot of flack from a lot of people, and I get it. He had the zero burger against Northwestern, okay? That was not fun, all right? The opening game against James Madison, I didn't have a hoot and a half. Connor, you were here for that post-game show. We didn't have great things to say about Malik Hall. You go back to last year. He was at the wrong end of some highlight plays against Kansas State. But dang it, I'll pat my own back here. I'll say when we're wrong on this show. I've done it many a times. I've had some terrible takes on the show that we will come up to. But we've talked that Malik Hall, when he is healthy, which he wasn't last year. He played through some back injuries, some foot injuries that he eventually had to get surgery on. He is a plus player for this team. Now, we know that there are a lot of naysayers out there, a lot of people that just don't like Malik Hall. But dang it, Connor, after this stretch and after this game with 29 points and 10 rebounds, is it enough where we could all just turn the page and actually start rooting for the kid and realize that, hey, this is a plus player? I'm not calling him a Naismith Award winner. I'm not even calling him a Big Ten first-team player. But, Connor, he's a plus player. Is it finally enough for people to start realizing that? Or do you think that there is reason for people to say, nah, still need to see it more from him?
I mean, he's shown it consistently. I would say since the beginning of the year, beginning of the new year, he's been a consistent 15 and 7 or 8 kind of guy. And he's shooting, above 50% from the floor, which he shoots maybe 1-3 every 3 or 4 games. And that takes 10 minutes to wind up and shoot it. But I mean, he's making them now. Now he's starting to make his threes. Today he made his only 3-point attempt and it didn't even look awkward. I mean, it did, but
went in. Hey,
it went in.
The swish of the net does not look awkward though. That's nice.
No, absolutely.
That's nice.
I mean, he's the most consistent player on the team right now. I mean, you can't really knock Walker because he's hurt and it's pretty obvious that he's not 100%. But I wrote the other day that the Malik Hall resurgence this year, or or rebound this year has been similar to the Hauser one, where he was just like,
Yeah.
the most easily criticized. Like you could just like pick on him constantly because he was always doing something wrong. And now it's like he's putting the team on his back, and he's the guy. He's the go-to guy right now.
Do you like stats? Do you just like fun numbers?
Love stats.
Because do you remember Nick Ward? Do you remember how fun he was in 2019? People called him a walking bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Malik Hall's finishing at the rim at a higher percentage than Nick Ward was that year? Do you know that?
And Malik Hall's, that's insane.
No, it is. Who remembers Xavier Tillman, NBA player Xavier Tillman? We had a great time with him in 2019 as well. And also 2020, the season that was cut short. Really good player. Malik Hall finishing at the rim at a higher clip than he is, percentage-wise. So, no, this isn't just me blowing smoke and me just, taking a 2-game sample size and just willing it into existence that, Malik Hall's a good player. No, like statistically in a lot of categories, he is doing very good. And I know that there are some people that are still, to this day, they're in the Twitter mentions saying like, oh, you must have forgotten about the 0 burger against Northwestern. Like that was 11 games ago. That was 11 games ago.
He's been lights out.
He has been just fine. He's averaging 14.3 points in the last 11 games. Yeah. Again, I'm not calling him as good as Zach Edey or that he should be a lottery pick next year, but he's a plus player. Forgive the college kid. Granted, he is 23 years old. He's on the upper end of college kids, but forgive the college kid for having an off night every once in a while, because also in the last 11 games since that Northwestern game, he has 6 games with 14 or more points. You know, Dawson Garcia, probably who will be a first-team All-Big Ten player for Minnesota, play the same position. They play that little stretch 4 position. As many 14-plus point games as Malik Hall does in the last 11 games. So I'm just sick of the Malik Hall slander. Of course, not a lot of people are doing it now, but there are some. It's a minority, a vocal minority, but this is an awakening, a resurgence. Then Malik Hall is a plus player. Will he go for 29 and 10 every single night, Connor? No.
He could. I have no doubt.
I like this, actually.
No. Okay, maybe not 29-10, but he could be a 20 points per game scorer if he had to be. Because when he gets the ball in the post, I have no doubt that he's going to score in some way or get a foul. I have no doubt. He's the most 100%. Aggressive player. This is the kind of player that we needed. We didn't have any dogs for a while this season. And I feel like he's finally realizing that every single time he gets the ball, he has a chance to score. Like whether it's the spin move or when he broke that kid's ankles on, I don't know what game was that. Was that Michigan? He did the spin move and step back like in the post. I don't remember that. He broke someone's ankles, but like that's the type of stuff he does. Today he did a between the legs, coast to coast, grabbed the rebound and took it coast to coast and scored on the other. Like this dude's like 6'7". And he's running the floor like a guard.
Right.
I don't know. Malik Hall, I think there shouldn't be any doubters of Malik Hall at this point with the way he's playing. I don't think he did a single thing wrong tonight. And he made all 8 free throws.
Hello.
Yeah.
Look at that. We were missing that last week, the last time we talked, Connor, because that was not a fun episode. But again, hey, is he going to have an off night between now and the end of the season? Yeah, probably, most likely, absolutely. But everyone in college, save for maybe, 5 players in this conference, has up and down nights. Like that's just the nature of the beast here. So It was just nice to have Malik Hall have just a really nice game here, Connor. He wasn't the only one with a really nice game, though. We had Jaden Akins. We had Carson Cooper throw up double digits, too. And also, we're just going to talk a little bit about this season some more. But first, Connor, I hate to do this to you. You're such a nice guest. It's Valentine's Day, for God's sakes. There should be love in the air. But I'm going to send you to the bench because I need to talk to people's ears off about FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. Folks, if you fancied yourself a nice little wager of Michigan State -3.5 like your boy did over here, well, hey, Mr. FanDuel is going to pay you out quickly because that's one of my favorite features of FanDuel is just how quick you get paid by FanDuel. You're not going to be sitting around for days at a time just wondering, oh my God, when's that money finally going to hit my account? No, FanDuel just zaps right to your account, it seems like. It is great. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That is $150 if your bet wins. You can bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, my personal favorite, first basket score, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to shoot your shot with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Again, it's FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Now let's drag our Valentine's date over here. Connor Muldowney of Spartan Shadows and Spartan Avenues. He's back doing what seems like a Locked On Spartans first, a victory episode with our friend Connor Muldowney over there.
Been a minute.
This is just so delightful. This is just a great time. And thank you, Malik Hall. And also thank you, Jaden Akins.
Yep.
Scorched earth in the first half, 16 points. Ended his game with 20 points. Also, you had Carson Cooper, 8 points in the first half. He finishes his night with 10 points. Who blew you away more, Connor? Was it Jaden Akins, a guy that we know has that in him, but whoo, man, when he gets rolling, he gets rolling. Or was it Carson Cooper that plays a position that a lot of people, ourselves included, have been dogging on the entire year, throwing up double-digit points by himself? I mean, who caught your eye more between those two?
I mean, Akins was the more noticeably hot player, but I kind of expected that from him coming into the year. Like, he was going to have those games where he just takes over, goes off, goes nuclear. The Cooper showing was like, okay, if he could do this on a regular basis, we would not. First of all, we wouldn't be 16-9.
But no.
And second of all, like we would have a lot of issues solved. Like Maddie, love Maddie, great kid,
awesome kid. You want your son to grow up to be just like Mady Sissoko,
exactly,
off the court.
Maddie's awesome, love Maddie, but he probably would get maybe like 5 to 10 minutes, and then Cooper would get 20 to 23-ish, and then maybe even, Xavier Booker for like 5 to 7 minutes. I don't know. Yeah. But if Cooper could play like that every single game, we would be in a much, much better place. So that's why I think his game stood out so much that I was like, wow, hopefully, this continues moving forward.
Because he had some good moments too in the tournament last year. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it takes him 4 full months to really get ingratiated into a season. We could hold out hope for that, I suppose. Yeah. But there isn't a lot of bones to pick with this game here. I mean, if there's one bone to pick, it is that I thought the center rotation was still a little bizarre. Like Mady Sissoko, he didn't give you anything spectacular. I want to reemphasize this. Incredible kid. Salt of the earth kid. What a story he has, Connor. 3 points, though. 1 rebound, yet 17 minutes, whereas Carson Cooper has his best game of his season so far. He just plays 1 more minute than him, and then, Xavier Booker, I know that they don't play the same position. Xavier Booker's more of a stretch 4 than Mady Sissoko as a true 5, but still, you think you could go some small ball here with, Booker at the 5?
Play the man. Play the man.
He had 5 points in his 5 minutes and then never saw the court again.
He was hot. Like, he had just gotten hot. And I understand he was winded. Like, he was dragging up and down the floor, which, I understand. But, he's winded because he plays 3 minutes a game maximum. Give him some playing time. He scored 5 points.
Right, and it looked good, too, when he did it. My God.
He's comfortable.
I've been saying, no, you're probably right not playing him in some situations because, it just doesn't, look all there. Today, look, Penn State is not a good team. It did look all there, especially their front court, which might have – I'm going to whisper this. That might be a reason why we saw 10 points from Carson Cooper. Penn State. But I'm going to edit that out, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Act like I never said that. But
that would be a nice game. Booker's post touch was what I've wanted to see from a post big all year. He literally caught the ball and went right up. He didn't go down. He didn't turn around. I almost, a tear almost rolled down my face when I saw that. I was like,
I know. No 2 pump fakes that no one falls for at all. Oh, it was delightful. It was
even with Cooper hot today, I saw him catch a ball wide open in the post and immediately look to pass it out.
I know.
Even his one bucket where he did a little hook shot off the glass and scored.
Yeah.
He made that look so much harder than it had to be. He could have just gone, I don't know. He has a 7'5" wingspan, and he's still no. All right,
No, it's fine. We're going to parlay some off performances into a question maybe of optimism, because I'm actually of the optimistic type when I'm about to read off. Tyson Walker, not his best game of his season. 6 points, 3 of 8 shooting, did not make a three-pointer. AJ Hoggard, your other guard, 4 points, 2 of 9 shooting, did not make a three. So between the two of them, that's 10 combined points. And that is, if I'm doing my math right, 5 of 17 shooting with no three-pointers. I just want to pull a Penn State stat over here. They shot 12 of 23 from behind the arc. That is incredible, above 50% shooting from Penn State. The fact you could win a game by 8 points with not a great game from your point guard or the best player on your team so far, and Penn State also shooting the lights out of the ball from beyond three-point range, and you still win as comfortably as you did, that makes me more optimistic for the end of the season. I know that sounds very strange because there are some people out there that are saying like, oh, well, Tyson Walker didn't play so great today, or AJ Hoggard didn't have it today. But that proved to me that you actually can win in more ways than just relying on Tyson Walker and an A-plus game from AJ Hoggard, whereas throughout the whole season, I haven't felt like that. So does that make sense? Like, when I read all that, do you see optimism, or are you actually concerned with the play from Walker and Hoggard today?
Like, think back to when we were 4-5 and we were just like down on the team. Like, I'm pretty sure we were all thinking if we didn't have Tyson Walker, we'd probably be 0-9 right now.
Correct.
So the fact that we won a game, so it should 8 points. It wasn't 8 point. Like, we dominated from start to finish. We were up by 14 with 30 seconds left.
You're right.
So to win a game that dominant on the road against, obviously Penn State's not good, but they've been a lot better lately than the last time we saw. Like, they've gotten better since we saw them last time. And to win that convincingly with Walker playing, 70% maybe. I don't know what you would put out like a number on that. And
that's fair, I think. Yeah.
And they had a 15% 3-point shooter hit 2 threes. They had a 25% 3-point shooter hit 2 threes. Like,
right.
That's the most, first of all, that's the most typical thing to ever happen to Michigan State.
Totally. Yes.
And second of all, yeah, that makes me feel great. Like, we didn't even play great perimeter defense. We didn't play our best game, and we still looked like the clear better team. Like, we looked like we could have sleepwalked to a win, and it, like we basically did. But yeah, I felt a lot better.
Like, it's a big reason why the Illinois win felt really good is because, like, okay, hey, finally, everyone that's supposed to have a good game, AJ Hoggard, Tyson Walker, Malik Hall, your seniors, they played great. But, like, it was almost kind of nice that you can win a road game. Granted, Penn State, just like you said it brilliantly, Connor. Not a good team, but as of late, like, they do have 2 double-digit road wins in the conference. We know how hard that is. Like, that is a Penn State team that was coming into as much form as they possibly can. But you still got the win, even with just one senior showing up. And, hey, you got a nice performance for your junior, Jaden Akins. And what's that, Carson Cooper? You want 10 points tonight? Well, sure, my man. Yeah, we can do that for you. Xavier Booker, you want 5 points in 5 minutes. So it was, like, oddly, in a way, nice to see that they can pull a win off, even with AJ Hoggard and Tyson Walker, like, kind of not being there tonight. And I'm not going to, lash out at them and cry about AJ Hoggard today. It's growth. It's a winning episode. It's a victory episode. So here we go. Connor, I did ask a quick. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go.
I was just gonna say this was one of those wins that makes you like really look back at the loss at Minnesota or like even another loss in conference play and just like if you just win that game, like if we had beaten Minnesota last week and we end up beating Michigan this weekend, I mean, there's like a 99% chance we're ranked next week. Like, that's the difference. Definitely. That's the difference between like, why didn't we just play like this at Minnesota? I don't know. It's one of those things that the inconsistency of this team, like Izzo said, keeps me up at night.
We're going to focus on the positives here. Yeah. Maybe. I don't actually, this is for you to decide because I threw a question out on Twitter. This is what we're going to end this segment in the basketball talk with before getting into some football talk here to end the show. I said, quick poll, are the last 2 games enough to make you feel better about the rest of the season? Yes was at 51.5% of the vote. Not quite was at 48.5% of the vote. Nearly 1,000 people voted, so thank you everyone that voted. But it is split because, look, I know it's just 2 games, but it's a win against a top 10 team where you had to show overcoming adversity late in the game and also a road win. We've only seen 2 of those in conference play so far this season. Is that enough for you, Connor Muldowney, to feel better about the future of this season, or do you still need to see a little more?
I think I need to see a little more, but the fact that, like you said, we beat a top 10 team in a game that, we could have folded when we were down 8 points with under 7 or 8 to go.
Yeah.
And then we go on the road where we've been horrible this season and just dominate from start to finish. I feel better for sure. Like I feel like the ceiling of this team is higher than what experts think, and I think it's higher than what a lot of our fans think. I think a lot of our fans are like, we'd be lucky to get out of the first weekend. I don't see that. I don't think that's the ceiling of this team at all. And I think the last 2 games definitely showed that.
We are so ready to get hurt again.
Oh, I know. Final Four. We're going to the Final Four. You and I. I podcast from.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah.
God, like the sucker I am, I just leave that Minnesota game just telling myself, like, this is why they'll never accomplish anything. And now here I am being like,
I saw your tweet about how far it is from here to
Dayton. That's right.
Dayton, and then the follow-up to Phoenix. Was that what it was?
Yeah. Because, like, look, when they're down 8 points with 6 minutes to go against Illinois, I'm thinking, first four again. Great. Great.
I tweeted that it was a good loss. That's what I tweeted at that very moment.
Yeah. We just willed this team to victory with our hateful tweets on Twitter. Look at us go, Connor. Look at us go. I'm sure Tom Izzo was just so thrilled with us. All right. We are going to be back here talking that football here in a hot second. But, Connor, I'm so sorry. I got to kick you off one more time because I need to talk to people's ears off about Gametime. That's right. The best ticketing app out there. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and download the Gametime app. Also use code LOCKEDON for $20 off. But just peruse the events that you might want to go to in the near future, whether it's a concert, a comedy show, theatrical performance, or hey, how about just a sporting event at East Lansing? Now, if you peruse the options throughout the week, you're going to notice some flash deals. All right, these are some of the best deals for the seats that you will find amongst any ticketing site out there. Or if you're a procrastinator like I am, you want to wait until the last minute, you don't want to get your tickets until you are walking in to Breslin Center, fine. Gametime says bet. Do that because they have their last minute deals available. And they're not available just until tip-off or kickoff or the start of the show. They go on an hour into the game or the performance or the concert, what have you. They want to save you money when it counts. So what are you waiting for out there? Download the Gametime app. Use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Again, download Gametime today. Promo code LOCKEDON, all one word, for $20 off your first purchase. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Now let's drag the one, the only Connor Muldowney, Spartans Avenue, yeah. Spartan Shadows. Too many Spartan publications out there. My goodness gracious.
Too many.
My
you said the two that matter, so it's okay.
There we go. That's what we're talking about. We're dragging it back in the show here because we're gonna talk football. Because mid-February, what better time to talk bowl games than right now, Connor? Well, Brett McMurphy of the Action Network, he thinks that right now is the greatest time to talk bowl projections. And Connor, what do you think? Do you think Brett McMurphy has Michigan State in a bowl game, projected into a bowl game right now?
If he doesn't, then he just doesn't know ball.
Well, he does know ball apparently, because he does have your Michigan State Spartans in the Music City Bowl in Nashville against Texas A&M. Now, if it wasn't ridiculous enough to have bowl projections in the middle of February, he took it a step further and actually has a spread for this game. Do you have any guess what the spread would be for this game? Spartans versus Aggies in Nashville. Like, you can just try your best. Okay. There's no shame if you're way off here.
Michigan State, Texas A&M in Nashville?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going to say Texas A&M -4.5.
So he loves the Aggies apparently, because he has A&M as a 15.5-point favorite in this game. Look, I'm sure the Aggies are going to be fine this year, but like, wow. Wow.
But he matched us up in a bowl together? Okay, got it.
He like Johnny Manziel's going to come back. He's going to play for A&M. Mike Evans is going to come back. It's going to be a whole hootenanny for the Aggies. But
wow.
Yeah. But let's just focus on the bowl aspect, not the actual spread. When you hear Music City Bowl for Jonathan Smith's year one, like my take is very easy, very short. Do you have just a hot opinion on this Music City Bowl or not so much? There we go.
Yeah, I would take anything for year one of Jonathan Smith. I mean,
that's where I'm at.
Yeah. You make a bowl. That was kind of like year one of really year one of Tucker. It was like, make a bowl game. I'm happy.
Right.
Don't maybe no, I'm not gonna say anything. Never mind.
Whoa. No, go on. I'll edit it out. Don't worry. No one will hear this.
Because I was going to say something really stupid and it wouldn't have made sense. So that doesn't matter.
Okay, we'll move on then. Yeah. Fine, whatever. But no, like I'm kind of with you. We're like I don't care if it's the Frisco Bowl. I don't care if it's the Armed Forces Bowl, or the Rose Bowl too. Could be pretty nice. That'd be cool. But yeah, like really, just as long as you're making a bowl game, that's fine. Just for the record, Michigan State, according to Brett McMurphy of the Action Network, is one of 15 Big Ten teams making a bowl game, Connor. So Brett McMurphy loves him some Big Ten football. Yes, 15 teams. I'm not going to go through them all. You can go check it out. His work, actionnetwork.com. We're going to go into a segment that we actually talked about the bulk of yesterday's show with, and that is Michigan State's win total of 5.5. Over here, we say, as long as Aiden Childs is healthy, I think it's a lock, personally. Mm-hmm. Connor, before we get into some other Big Ten teams, like, do you have the urge to drain every account in your name and throw down the over for 5.5 wins?
Yeah, I would throw my mortgage on it, but knowing my luck, I would be homeless at the end of the season. So,
shoot,
the 5.5 seems kind of wild to me given our schedule.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Vegas knows things that we don't know. But I think as long as, like you said, as long as Childs is healthy, Nate Carter stays healthy, we have our offensive line improves like we think it should, and hopefully we have a defense this year. We should. I mean, sure. 5.5 should be a cakewalk. We should start out like, I think I remember looking at this like 4-0, 5-4-0.
Good. Like it's realistic. Good. I mean,
yeah.
It's on the table, but like my thing yesterday is like, let's say you just go 3-1.
Yeah.
In that first month, let's say you even go 0-4 in that middle of the schedule, and let's say the last month is very gettable too. Let's just say you go 3-1 there too. Mm-hmm. Like that. That's the over still, and that's like kind of worst case
scenario.
Right. Like that. Yeah. That's like speaking very pessimistically about the season. Like, I don't know. If you guys want more of the insight, that's yesterday's show. And we'll be talking about the over-under throughout the entire offseason. There's going to be no shortage of that kind of talk. But, Connor, as I'm looking at the Big Ten win totals, there are 3, and they're actually all at the top, that I'm feeling pretty good about. I want to bounce them off you. And kind of with Michigan State yesterday, the thesis for a lot of these is going to come down to the schedule. Okay, that's kind of where I'm at right now. The top 2 teams right now in this conference, Oregon and Ohio State, they both have win totals of 10.5. Like, they are going to be buzzsaws this year. They face each other this year, actually. That is going to be must-see television, Connor. Cannot wait for that one. However, I'm going to go over for both of these teams, Oregon and Ohio State. We talked a little bit about this on yesterday's show. I'm going to go more in depth here with their schedule. Because, Connor, what I look at when I go with win totals, I look at a lot of things, but one of the first things I look at is the non-conference schedule. Are you giving yourself any reason to even sweat one of those? Are you giving yourselves any coin tosses? Connor, Oregon's non-conference, no coin tosses whatsoever here. It's Idaho, it's Boise State, and then it's the skeleton of whatever's left of Oregon State. All right, the Ohio State game this year, that's a home game. They do have 2 tough road games at Michigan, who they still should beat, and at Wisconsin, which they still should beat. And they found an established quarterback in Dylan Gabriel. I don't know. Like, they could lose like that Ohio State game. They could lose like that Michigan game. And like, they'd still have another game in hand to lose. I think that them going 11-1, quite frankly, is their basement. You have an early pulse check on that? Is this bad financial advice I'm giving people?
I mean, the 3 games, like you said, that are the toughest, they're losing at least one of the at Michigan, at Wisconsin games.
Okay.
At least one of those games. And then Ohio State might be the best team in the country next year.
Yeah, I think so.
I just don't know how the transition from Bo Nix to Dylan Gabriel is going to be. Like, Gabriel might just be terrible on the new offense. You just never know.
He could. It is his first year.
He was so consistent with them. So,
yeah,
I don't know. That's tough. My gut would say take the over, but like that would mean they'd have to go perfect if they lose to Ohio State, and that's
Maybe Ohio State is more appealing than to
Yeah.
you. Now, let me run through their non-cons and their tough games because against all odds, Ohio State has an even easier non-conference schedule than Oregon, perhaps. It's Akron. It's the Fighting Zips. And then it's Marshall. Shout out to Christian Fitzpatrick, I believe, transferred there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
If I'm wrong, we're going to edit that part. A lot of editing to do after this show here. And then Western Michigan is the third non-conference game. So Akron, Marshall, Western Michigan. No Notre Dames this year for Ohio State, And then, yes, the road games are tough. At Oregon, at Penn State. Okay, that's tough. And then, hey, if you want, I was going to say, if you're feeling spicy, at Michigan State too. And then at Northwestern, I don't know how spicy that is, but their home slate is kind of a joke, Connor. It's Iowa, it's Nebraska, it's Purdue, it's Indiana, and then it's Michigan, who, obviously they have the upper hand against the Buckeyes, but like you said, the Buckeyes on paper, probably the best team going into this year. I think that between the at Oregon, Penn State, and then home against Michigan, they can go 2-1 in those three games and then sweep the rest. I'm sorry to fellow Michigan State fans. I'm just not seeing it this year necessarily. Are you more confident over Ohio State than Oregon, or are both just bad bets? You could just tell me to my face that I'm an idiot. That's okay.
No, I don't. I'm not. Okay. Take it from me. I can't call someone else a bad better because I am the worst. So I think I would take Ohio State's over 10.5 definitely before I took Oregon's, because all they have to do is split at Oregon, at Penn State, and they're basically guaranteed 11 wins.
That's kind of how I see it too.
Yeah.
And really quick, we'll just make this last minute the player haters ball here, because the third team that has the highest win total is Michigan, the reigning national champs, 9.5. Now, I swear that we're not just two Michigan State idiots just bagging on Michigan. No, there's reason to believe that there's going to be some drop off this year. And you know what doesn't help, Connor, is this schedule that they have coming up. Oh boy, you talk about giving yourself a coin toss in the non-conference. How about a home game against top 5 Texas next year? Now, it is home. That goes a long way in college football, but my goodness gracious, that's going to be a dangerous Texas team next year. They also have home games against USC. Oregon's going to be a wagon. And then, hey, if we're feeling spicy about our Spartans, yes, Michigan State, they do play them as well. Now, their away games, a little difficult, at Washington, at Ohio State. If you lose the Texas, at Washington, at Ohio State, there it is right there. Or let's say that you do drop one against USC or against Oregon. I'm just seeing 4 losses.
Yeah.
Right. And I swear I'm not a hater. That's a hard schedule. They are replacing however many draft picks they're going to have this year. I'm feeling good about the Michigan under right now, which I know sounds ridiculous after a national champion year.
That one stood out to me. I personally think that they're going to be an 8-4 team next year.
Right. At best.
Yeah. Texas, should be a loss. Even USC is probably going to be tough. At Washington, it depends on how Jed Fish has them going. At Illinois is not going to be easy. Michigan State, we'll see. Oregon, no.
Right.
And then, at Ohio State, no. There's so many could be losses on their schedule.
Right.
I just can't see them. I can't see them winning 10 games. There's just no way.
It'd be very, very impressive.
That's a wild. Impressive. That's Vegas is either that's the biggest trap of the century, or that's just free money.
And hey, I've never walked into a betting mousetrap in my life before. No, I'm never the moth that flies into the light that Vegas sets up for me. Never. So, if you guys want to be filthy rich, go ahead and fade all 3 of those picks, and go ahead and bet under 5.5 for Michigan State if you just want to make it a Mount Rushmore of fading our picks here. But that's gambling corner talk here, and that's some football talk here with yours truly over here. Hey, what's up? It's Matt, and over there, Connor Downey, Spartan Shadows, Spartan Avenue.
There you go,
dude.
Nailed it.
We had fun for a half hour.
For the first time ever, I think.
Wow, we weren't just pulling ourselves out of misery and then dragging the other one back into the pit of misery. Why? No. Let's make it a perfect game here of happiness, Connor. Let's do it. Let's just act like we didn't talk about the center talk here for a little bit. Hey, no. Center's played good today. One center played good today. We're gonna focus on that.
And one played well and then got benched. But
it's all good.
It's all good. Bogart struggled a little bit, which kind of bothered me. But we won. We won a game.
It's a win streak. Games, Connor. We've won games. This is a 2-game win streak. Don't
Yes.
let the boys get hot.
Don't let them get hot.
Not ahead of Izzo season. That's right, baby. Anything else you want to throw out there to the people before we let you go and enjoy the rest of your night here, Connor?
I got nothing. I appreciate the fact that you assumed that I had no Valentine's Day plans, which is why you reached out to me.
Peek behind the curtain, everyone. This was not scheduled. Like, this was very last minute. We had a last minute
He's
cancellation.
Like, guy that doesn't have.
No, I said no. I said if you have literally anything better to do, please feel free to say no. But I had to give the people a dapper face to look at tonight. I was not going to do a live show on YouTube and just have this over here be the face that they look at on Valentine's Day. Like, my God, you want to ruin a night of romance? Just go ahead and just throw this face solo on a screen. I had to get a tall drink of water like you on this show. And point blank, Connor, it's just always a fun time recording, even when it's a loss. But man, we just had to mix it up here. Had to mix it up on that. You know, we had to spice things up on Valentine's Day. Try something new. We did a winning podcast tonight, Connor. How about that for the folks?
I'll take a spontaneous podcast whenever I can get it, especially after a win. Especially after a win. Yeah.
So thank you for being the on-call doctor here tonight. Much appreciated. You're the best, Connor. And everyone watching, everyone listening, thank you guys so much. We will be back tomorrow. We got Kevin Greck of Can't Read, Can't Write in the mix tomorrow. We will be previewing the Michigan game this weekend, talking football, just talking all things green and white here. You guys know what it is. It's Locked On Spartans. Love you all, especially you, Connor. Happy Valentine's Day over there.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Okay, go green. God, boys won. Let's go. God. Woo.